any wrongdoings that happened, any red flags I saw, for me were covered by the love bombing. The random, and it was beautiful, by the way, Lynn.
Yeah.
I'd wake up and find 10,000 in my wallet.
Hey.
Coming to work from lunch and finding a huge bouquet of flowers on my desk. It would be when we go out with my girlfriends, he's the one who's buying the drinks for all of us and making sure you're comfortable. So for me, I was like, this man must really love me.
Yes.
Babe, you have been a breath of fresh air. And as I keep telling you, your name means laughter. Isaac means laughter, and that's all you have brought to my life. You are my friend, you're my confidant, you're my mentor, you're my priest, you're my provider. You have entrusted me with your children. You have fought for me and loved me unconditionally with all my craziness. Babe, I love you. And I thank God every single day for the blessing that you are in my life.
You said, Lynn, I've learned if you go to therapy with a victim mentality,
you will not heal. And I'm saying this as both a client, because I went through therapy to be able to get to where I am today, and I still go for therapy because of my career. And I'm also saying it as a mental health professional. If you come to therapy with a victim mentality, nani alinifanya na nani alinifanya, you will not heal.
Yeah. Hello, good morning, and a warm welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Now, guys, there's nothing that warms my heart like a person that is willing to take responsibility for their past mistakes. My guest today was very categorical. Lynn, I'm not even here to talk about my ex. I'm here to talk about the role I played, how I ignored those red flags, and what made me ignore those red flags. But don't worry, she also gets to experience a second chance in love, and she's here to walk us through her journey so that you and I can be able to take some few tips from her story. So with the, okay, and I know leo sijava elegance fashion, my people, but I got, no, the shoes ni elegance, guys, go get a pair if you can. I have to always thank them for always coming through for my show. So if you're in a position to, their contact details are right here on the screen. Grab something for yourself. And now, without further ado, please allow me to let my beautiful guest introduce herself. Neke, what's up? What's up?
Blush.
Man, Pole. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Guy, looking lovely.
Thank you.
You
Thank
you. 10 over 10.
Aki, it's my God's grace. Thank you.
Minus nothing.
My thanks.
You look so lovely.
Thank
yes,
you.
Please introduce yourself.
So my name is Valentine Kadhambi Muriungi. I am a mother of 3, a wife to 1 husband.
Yes.
I am a marketing and advertising expert.
Yeah.
And I'm also a certified clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are so happy to have you here on the show.
I am also so honored to be here.
It's amazing. And I was saying now, as I was going through your brief, I took my time and I was just going through it slowly by slowly. And it's the last couple of paragraphs that captured my attention, because you say you do not want to have the victim mentality. So before we even get deeper into your story, let me ask you something I'm asking my guests lately. Why was it important for you to share it?
Because I've noticed that a lot of us get stuck in that rat race of being the victim. But in every story, there are 3 sides to the story. There is my side, there is your side, and there is the truth.
Yes.
So it's important for you as an individual to ask yourself, why me? Why did I have to be the one who found myself in this situation?
Yeah.
And we have to start learning that, because that at that point is where healing starts from.
Yes.
Where you accept that, okay, fine, this person hurt me, but I also had a role to play. Because why did it have to be me who was hurt? It could have been anyone else. And the other reason is because growing up, my mom always used to tell us that anything you see while you're dating someone, do it times a million times in marriage. because that person is seated there. So meaning, by the time you're getting married and a relationship or a marriage is breaking, you saw the red flags. You saw them throughout your dating period, but you turned a blind eye for whatever reason. And it might be either consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah.
And for most of us, it's unconscious because of childhood trauma, of things that we have not dealt with about our past, or societal pressures. And we turn a blind eye, and then things don't work out. And rather than stop and ask yourself, okay, what have I learned from this experience? So that you don't find yourself in that same situation and you end up having so-and-so has the first husband, the second husband, the third husband. You learn your lesson, and as you move on, you're aware so that you don't find yourself in a similar situation again.
Good.
Yes.
And there's something important you said before we start. You said, Lynn, I've learned if you go to therapy with a victim mentality,
you will not heal. And I'm saying this as both a client, because I went through therapy to be able to get to where I am today, and I still go for therapy because of my career. And I'm also saying it as a mental health professional. If you come to therapy with a victim mentality, nani alinifanya na nani alinifanya, you will not heal.
Yeah.
You will not heal.
Yeah.
Because what I tell my clients and my patients in therapy is, you're the one seated in my office. Meaning you're the one with the problem. You're the one who's being disturbed by this situation. You cannot change anyone. Let me tell you, even your child who you birthed, you cannot change anyone on earth. So how about working on your own personal change and hope that your change will influence the other person's change?
Lovely.
And even if it does not,
Yes.
then you will have healed, you will have learned, and you will grow.
Yeah.
Because most of us get stuck at the point of debriefing. Nilifanywa. Okay, all these things happen to you and we are sorry. Then what? Are we going to get stuck there?
Yes.
And you see, unfortunately, especially for women, and I know I might get crucified for saying this, single moms who you're rushing day and night to fight the father of your child, crisscrossing these streets, going to court every day. How about putting that energy to loving your child? That way that child will never feel like they're missing out on anything, because a child is not looking for a mother and father. They're looking for a stable home.
And a parent.
And a parent. A stable parent and a stable home. So whether it is one parent, whether it is two parents, whether it is two parents and the extended family,
Yes.
whether it's a parent and the extended family, whether it's friends only,
Yeah.
stability is what that child is looking for.
Yes.
But if you're constantly, because you see, we unconsciously and at times consciously badmouth the other person. Yeah, you see hata baba yako hajafanya, mama yako hafanyi. So you're telling this child, because a child does not interpret it like we do as grown-ups. This child will say, had it not been for me, mom and dad would not be in this situation. So already you're creating trauma
In this child's
life. And they grow up yearning and looking for that gap that this parent who you're constant, because you're making it evident that there's something missing, and life would be better if this person was there. So that man who has left, or that woman who has left, because these days women are also living. In my situation, as we talk about my story, you'll see there's a woman who left and a man was left with his children. Yeah. But if you focus on giving this child love and attention, yeah, they'll be going to school and they're told, where atauna baba?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but my mother is there and she's enough.
And the love is 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 enough.
Yes.
And I remember at the heart of my downfall and my brokenness, my sister told me, because I was crying and telling her, now how will I survive? My child will go to school without a father. My sister told me, this boy does not need a father. He needs love. So that if ever he's told you don't even have a father, he'll say, yeah,
I'm
but
not
I have
lacking.
mommy. I have mommy Tote. Tote is my sister.
Oh.
I have mommy Tote, and I have Nyanya. Nyanya is my mother.
Yeah.
And I have Babu. So this father business is not, it is a good thing to have. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have. Having both parents is a beautiful thing. I grew up with both of my parents and we are very close to date. We are a very small knit family.
Yeah.
And I know the beauty of having both of them. But I've also seen amazing women and men raising their children on their own.
Yes.
My children have been raised by the most amazing man. Mimi nasemanga nilikuja tu kuweka the cherry on top because they are intelligent, they are respectful, they are focused, and it's purely because their father was intentional. Yeah. So you as a parent, are you contributing to the existing problem of the man who has left?
Yes.
Because you alichagua kaenda. You chose to stay. Then stay. Stay.
And stop there.
Yes, and stop him maneno
choose
ingine.
love for your
choose love
kids.
for your child.
God.
Tell your child, hii mia ndio tuko nayo. Children are not looking for a lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I learned it through my children. These are things I'm telling you out of experience, not hearsay.
Out of experience.
My children moved from a 4-bedroom mansion to a 3-bedroom apartment, dogo. For the first time in their lives, they shared rooms with house girls. They did not care.
Yes.
Their happiness was, Papa is here.
Mama is here.
Mama is here. Now we have Mama.
Yes.
Me, I'm good.
And you know, they don't know. I did not want us to get here. But you are raising a blended family right now.
Yes.
And you found love.
I found love.
And you feel beautiful.
And I feel beautiful.
Yes.
Be there for your child.
Be there.
Be there.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you as a parent. Whether mko pamoja.
Yes.
You know, you can also be alone in a marriage.
Yeah.
Where it's the man is there, but he's not there. And a lot of us grew up like that.
You know, and I keep saying, there's a very huge difference between being there and being present.
Yes.
Such a huge difference. Yes. But before my people waniambie, Lynn, tupeleke kwa story. I can see Akina. I know them by their name. Kaswiti, Wanjiru, there, Jedi Moon. Now they're like, Lynn, tunafika kwa story sangapi. So please, if you could walk us through your story.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And then so that we can get to this part now where you found love again and also how it feels raising a blended family.
Okay. So I'm a firstborn in a family of 2.
Yeah.
We're a very small, close-knit family. My mom, it was my mom, my dad, me, and my younger sister.
Yeah.
My mother and my sister are my best friends. Wow. They are my people, and my dad is... As I talk about my journey, my family is everything to me. I also have friends who are very close to me. I also have a stepbrother, but our nuclear family is me, my mother, my father, and my sister. And that's how we grew up. We grew up. Now, in retrospect, I believe I grew up in a rather... It wasn't elaborate, but privileged life. I grew up in Buruburu, and then when I was 13, we moved to Kilimani. My parents worked hard to give us a beautiful life because in the 90s when, you know, public schools were good, but we went to private schools and we've been in private schools all through till university. Dad and mom worked hard to give us the best they could with the little they had. And I grew up with parents who were not extravagant. They are very simple people. In fact, if you see them, unaweza wadharau.
Yeah.
But they are very down to earth and giving you a life where even if I die today, you'll still be able to survive without what I'm giving you.
Yes.
So we were exposed to it. Well, I remember mom would put us, we'd enter a bus in Buruburu and we'd roam. Tunaenda Dandora, Huruma, tunazunguka, tunarudi nyumbani. Alafu anatuingisha kwa gari, anatupeleka Spring Valley, Runda, Muthaiga, anatuonyesha these are the extremes of life. Yeah? It does not matter where you were born, but where you will go is up to you.
Yes.
So take advantage of the situation you have so that you're not living a life that you won't be able to give your children. So fast forward for me, school life was difficult. I struggled in school. Number one, at the age of 5, I was being abused by a house girl. So she would beat me up, na mwiko, tie me with a rope, throw me in the bathroom, ananifungia kwa nyumba, anafunga the bathroom from outside, and then she locks the house and she goes. So one of those days, my mom is a staunch Christian. I grew up in a very Christian background.
Yeah.
So I guess as God awakens your intuition, mom decided to come home early one day. And of course, you know, by the time you're an abused child, you're not going to tell your mother anything.
Yeah.
I was a very talkative child, but to date, my mom didn't understand. How is it that you didn't tell me? So she came home and rang the bell. No one was opening. Then I think somebody told her, huyo amezoea akwangi hapa sahi. So my mom is very small frame. She jumped over the gate, broke into the house, then came looking for me, got me out. So of course that trauma stuck with me. So that was the first time I came face to face with abuse. Then I was also a sickly child. So I suffered a lot of rejection in school. Children can be mean.
Oh man, very mean.
Children can be mean.
Yes.
So I had warts all over my fingers, so no one wanted to play with me. No one wanted to associate with me. I was also asthmatic and I was very small, tiny. And so school was difficult for me. However, also because of my personality and how we've been brought up, my dad brought us up, because you see, we are two girls.
Yeah.
My dad was brought up by a single mom. My grandfather died when my dad was very young. I think he was like 2 or 3 years old. And Dad kept on telling us being a woman is not a disability. It does not mean that you cannot do what your brother or your male cousins can do. Being a woman, it's just a sex, it's just a gender.
Yes.
And you should be able to do, when I talk about my children, I don't say I have 2 girls and 1 boy. I say I have 3 children. The end. When I'm leaving inheritance, whatever little I'll have to leave, why should he get more than you? So we were very bold. My sister and I are very bold. We are able to talk in spaces where ordinarily people would shrivel and question things. So of course, the 844 system does not like such kind of children. So you can imagine school for me was very, very difficult. However, when I joined university, something just happened. And I developed a close-knit group of friends. Life just became, that rejection I had faced fizzled away.
Yes.
All of a sudden, this small, scrawny girl who no one wanted to associate with was now a boyfriend.
Yes.
The top couple in the school. People are looking at you like, hey, uliangukia aje, you know.
Yeah.
So, and even as life went on, and as I got to the situation I got into, for me, bombastic love or romance. So tulikuwa tumesoma Mills and Booths na Sweet Valley High na Sweet Valley Twins. So that is what I saw as love. So long as you're giving me attention, because remember, I didn't get attention. So long as you're accepting of who I am and my big personality, then you love me. So fast forward to 2012, I'm doing well. I'm now working. I was working for one of the leading media houses. Yes. I'm making good money. I've even moved out of home. Ninaishi kwa kabedsitter in Kilimani. I'm driving. Life is good.
Yes.
But sijapata bwana, and the society now is questioning. Because by that time, I'm 27.
Yeah.
And people are asking, first, you're the first girl in the family. You're the firstborn. So people are asking,
what's happening?
Madam,
what plans do you have?
This dashing hot man, in fact, he was in that circle of where we met, he was like the hottest man. Sees Val, the one who's used to being rejected, and decides that I want to date you. So any wrongdoings that happened, any red flags I saw, for me were covered by the love bombing. The random, and it was beautiful, by the way, Lynn.
Yeah.
I'd wake up and find 10,000 in my wallet.
Hey.
Ati nimeenda kununua mandazi na chai ya breakfast, nikifungua wallet nakuta nilikuwa nimewekewa tu 10,000 hapo.
Nipate tu sahi katikati ya Januari mtu anijenge tu hivyo. It was gone.
It would be coming to work from lunch and finding a huge bouquet of flowers on my desk. It would be when we go out with my girlfriends, he's the one who's buying the drinks for all of us and making sure you're comfortable. So for me, I was like, this man must really love me.
Yes.
So anything negative I saw, And even when you're talking to your close people, they're like, "Ay, Nani, how? You know you, Val, we know you and your personality. Even you need to learn how to." So the other thing was, I was seeking affirmation to be told, actually, this is not right. And since it did not come, and no one told me you need to get out of that relationship, I held on. And I got a grand proposal at the roof of Sankara. Nilikuwa nimekewa kwa screen. Ni kama ilikuwa movie, at the end of a movie.
Yes.
And all my friends were there. We had a grand wedding. But from that day of the wedding until the day I left, there was so much pain. And as we said at the beginning, we are not getting into the pain of it or what he did or did not do.
Yes.
But all I can say is there was a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And the thing that now made me leave is when my son was born. So my son was born under very difficult circumstances. You know, as a woman, when you're pregnant, you're told, these are the 10 things to look out for. Your discharge will change color. You might bleed. If you see these danger signs, me, all of them happened. I bled. My discharge was not even yellow. It was green. The baby pooped. He inhaled the poop. He swallowed the poop. Alinyongwa na cord. My placenta, half of it was dead. As in,
Yes.
everything that could go wrong went wrong. I remember I woke up at 5 a.m. Something used to happen throughout my pregnancy. I'd lose sleep at 4. So initially I'd go to social media. Then one day I went to visit a friend of mine and she told me how intentional she was about praying for her baby. And she got exactly what she asked for.
Yes.
So I was like, maybe that's why God wakes me up. And let me tell you, Lynn, the things I used to pray against for my son is exactly what we went through. So what I ask myself and what God tells me, what if you didn't pray against them? We would not have overcome them. It would have been 10 times worse. So my son is born. I woke up at 5. By 7, in the house. By 7:30 a.m. I'd given birth.
Wow.
So that's a span of 2.5 hours. Within that time, I'd woken up. I found out I was bleeding. I told my then husband. We rushed to hospital. The doctor came on time. I was rushed to theater because his heartbeat would go to 0, shoot to 120, come to 60 in Azimika. So I was rushed to theater. He was taken out. I was shown his feet. He was very pale. He needed to go to NICU, to nursery ICU, and he was quickly rushed. So I ended up seeing my son at 10 p.m. because I needed to recover from the surgery. And he was in one corner of the hospital and I was in another corner. Anyway, we went through that, but it was difficult. My son was very sick. And towards the end of my marriage, my son ended up in hospital. That was in December of 2016, sorry, because he was born in November. So we ended up in hospital. During that admission, it was difficult, Lynn. It was difficult. Seeing your 6-week-old baby in ICU with tubes all over, it was the most, and no one knows what is wrong. But at that point is when I realized, because of what was going on at that point, that I need to leave. I'm a grown-up. I chose this. This child did not. And for as long as I continue staying here, I am telling myself and this child that it is okay to be treated like this. And I went and sat with my parents. To hospital too, I told my dad, My dad told me, let me tell you something, my dear daughter. And that's why I tell you, my parents. My father told me, Kadhambi. That's what he calls me. In fact, he calls me Papi. Papi, Mom, I did not sell you. And you are not picked up from the roadside. Come back home. Kama imeshindikana, and I can see what you're going through. And my mother now had seen. You see now, affirmation had come also. Yes. Affirmation had come for, hey, kumbe even ndio kumekua. So my parents were like, you come.
Yeah. Allow me to pause there for the purpose of this conversation. I don't want you to get in details you can't get into. But if you could give us a general picture, because for someone to get married, it's one thing.
Yes.
You want this also. There's a part of you that wants this, right? You are giving birth to your son in 2016.
I got married
in 2015
15 May. So
May.
but yes.
So, just a general picture of it. What was it that made you say, I want to get out?
You see, by the time I was leaving, Lynn, I'd left 3 times. I'd packed and left 3 times. 3 months into them, it was like routine. Every 6 months, inakuwa too much, I need to leave to go have a breather. Our parents call us back for a meeting. They sit us down and they talk to us.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to get into this.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to shame anyone.
Yes.
But let me say, I did not marry who I thought I did. I overlooked certain things that I should not have. You know, where you're given a story, nata we unaona unapakwa mafuta, but everything else ukujua is nice and rosy, so that's what you want to focus on. Yes. You don't want to get into the hard stories. So there was a lot of deception. There was a lot of emotional abuse. And you know, by the time I constantly lived in fear of one day, nitachapwa. Because surely my background is in mental health. Of course, I know the cycle.
Yeah.
I know. He never beat me.
Yeah.
But the fear of it happening was there.
Always there.
It was always there. Because, and then me and my big personality shriveled completely. I was completely separated from my family. I was separated from my friends. I lost a lot of friends. The ones who are still my friends, because me, I was that person who would enter a room, nasalimiana kutoka watchman ananijua.
Yes.
That changed. In fact, I now started even having social anxiety because I might go out and I'm not appropriately dressed or say the wrong thing or talk too much or, you know, I was just not right enough. And given, maybe he also did not marry who he thought he was marrying.
Yes.
So I can't fault him. I can't sit here and say, you know,
yes.
he has his side of the story to tell.
Again.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I can say I did not get into the marriage I thought I was getting into. I felt unappreciated. I felt abused. I felt lied to. There was severe suspicion that was later on confirmed of infidelity. So it was everything that could go wrong went wrong.
And that's okay. This is a very safe space.
Yes.
We do not want you to tell
exactly
us what
the
you are
details.
not okay with.
The thing and the reason I don't want to get into it, Lynn,
it's okay.
is me and my ex meet and hug each other and say hi to each other.
Yeah.
He's not part of my son's life out of his own choice. But me and him, you see, my relationship with him and his relationship with his son are 2 different things.
Yes.
I healed, I moved on, I forgave him.
Yes.
Now, his lack of forming a relationship with his son will catch up with him eventually.
That's his own.
That's his own choice. Because when we meet and I hug you and I say hi and you don't ask me how the child is doing. And this is a child you see. I mean, as recent as last week, we were somewhere, all of us happened to be in the same place, and he ran right past the child. So
that's his
choice.
It will catch up with him.
Exactly, it will catch up with him. But me and him, there's nothing, because I did not get what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
And he certainly did not get what he was hoping for.
Yeah.
And that's the basis of it. Yes. But you see, for me, the thing that made me leave is this child did not choose to be in this situation. Me, I chose. As Val,
you chose.
I chose to be in that situation. I saw the red flags. I saw them. I can tell you, Lynn, without a shadow of doubt, there is nothing new this guy showed me in the marriage. I saw it during dating. I saw it. But because of, remember I told you, the rejected Val, the abused Val, had finally gotten this grand acceptance that everybody could see, I held on to it. Not bearing in mind that it's coming at a cost.
Yes.
Okay? So at that space where my son was very sick, I needed to make a decision. Am I going to stay here and almost cause that? Because he almost died because of certain decisions that were made during that period. And he almost died. By God's grace, we got into hospital in good time and he was resuscitated. And that is when I made my decision. I told myself, if anything happens to this child, Val, it is on you.
Yes.
Because you have chosen to continue staying in this situation. You're a grown-up. You can deal with whatever is thrown at you. But this is an innocent child. And that's when I prayed about it. I talked to my pastor about it. I talked to my parents about it. And we decided that it's best I move back to my parents' house.
And you know, for me, the powerful thing about what your dad said, he did not sell you
Sikuuzwa, na sikuokotwa.
It's always amazing to have a feeling that your parent can provide a safe space for you to go back home to. That's beautiful.
It is. And don't forget, Lynn, by the time I was getting married, I wasn't living at home. Remember, I was doing well.
Yes.
But by this time, I was reduced to nothing. I had no savings. I was deep in debt. As in, I was in such a bad place with a very sick child. And my parents did not castigate me. They didn't look down upon me. They welcomed me. And you know, that's also how God works. Remember the story of the lost son?
Yes.
Even with my parents, I'd put some distance. Yeah. That year, 2017, was the hardest year of my life. We spent the whole of that year in hospital with my son, in and out of hospital. I remember at some point, his digestive system was so inflamed. He had sores from his throat all the way to his bum internally. So he was put on steroids. His immunity was low. We were on formula, because now his digestive system couldn't hold anything. So we were put on formula. A tin was 10,000 shillings. He's taking 4 in a week. Mshahara yangu hata ifiki nusu ya hiyo. But that boy lacked nothing. Somehow, Lynn, somebody would come randomly, send me 10,000 and tell me, nunulia mtoto matunda. You don't know mtoto akuli matunda. I take that money and quickly buy milk. And I have to say, we also had a very good cover. When I was, let me take you back kidogo too. While dating my ex, there's a point I felt very sick. And my hospital cover had run out. So the only thing I could afford to do is see the doctor, but I couldn't buy medication. Na nikajichuna maskio. Nikijiambia, I can't imagine having a child and this situation happens. So when my son was born, I quickly took a cover for him through work. So that is what saved us, because at the end of 2017, we'd spent almost 6 million shillings in hospital bills. It was lean. It was hell. But you know, God is, he's an interesting God. He's an amazing God, because in that pit, in that pain of 2017 is where my redemption happened. That's where I found healing. I was separated. You know the way God swallowed, made sure Jonah kamezwa. Akiwa hapo ndani, there was nothing else to think about, but think about your life. And I remember at that point in December when my son was sick, God quickened me to read the book of Job in preparation for what was just about to happen. Because I lost everything. Friends, my marriage, money, everything went. And the only thing I was left with was me and my sick child, who I didn't know if he would survive. And it got to a point I used to pray and tell God, if you are telling me to read Job, to prepare me for what you're going to do with this boy, then prepare my spirit to be able to handle him. So that I do not die with him if he dies.
Yes.
It was bad. So as I'm walking in the corridors of the hospital we used to frequent, nikibembeleza mtoto, there's a certain gentleman I used to see. First doctor in, last doctor out. And we'd say hi in the corridors. But towards the end of 2017, I remember, as I mentioned, I grew up in a very close-knit family. So even my cousins, my aunties and uncles were very close, and my grandparents. So I lost my grandfather. And 2017 was difficult because the youngest person and the oldest person in our family were exchanging in hospital. So my granddad goes in, he comes out, my baby goes in. At the end, both of them were in hospital at the same time. Same hospital, but one passed away.
Oh.
So we go, we bury him, and then we go later on for a function. And when we are coming back from Meru, my son has spiked a fever of 40. We are in the middle of Meru with the history we've had of this child. So my mother drove like a mad woman and made sure we're back in Nairobi within 2 hours. Quickly rushed to hospital, we got admitted. And the doctor who was handling us had to go on leave. And he hands us over to a different doctor. And that is how I met my husband. He walked into my room. And tulikuwa tumekosana na nurses. I mean, you've been in hospital for a whole year. And you're not in the right frame of mind, eh? And before I even talk about that, no, because it was in November of 2017, in between here as we are walking in and out of hospital, God is also working on me. And my sister is the one who would be sent to dunga midu. Me and my sister have a very tough love kind of relationship. Nikiona ukifanya ujinga nitakwambia what you're doing is nonsense. Can you stop it? So my sister is the one who would be given the word to come and give me, you need to let go of bitterness. You need to do this, you need to do that. And because God had already allowed God, because you see, I even tell people, even in the story of Saul to Paul, he would have chosen not to do what he was told to do. He would have chosen, but he chose to abide. Yes. So you have to allow God into your space. So during this time, I realized I've not been okay for a very long time. And I recalled and I recalled and I sat down in that pit of being in hospital. You're alone. There's no noise. You're left with nothing but your thoughts. Yeah. And I spoke to my mother because my mother is also a clinical psychologist. So I talked to her and I told her, hey, I don't think I'm okay. And she asked me why, and I told her, I'm experiencing suicidal thoughts. I actually think, even if I'm not here, I'll be doing all of you a favor. Because I've brought you guys so much pain and shame. This childhood, I mean, you've done a good job with my sister. You might, sasa mimi, sitaezana kulea mtoto to be anything of substance. I'm sure you raising him will do a better job. And my mom realized this girl is not okay, and I quickly was taken to therapy. Now in therapy is when the root cause, how did you get here? Sawa, ulifanywa. But why you? Why not Njeri or Jane? Why you? And that's when I discovered childhood trauma that I had not dealt with. Spirit of rejection that I had not dealt with. And suddenly, because all this attention that I did not get and quote unquote acceptance is now coming and it's beaming for everybody to see. It's in a grand gesture. So everybody is seeing the way I'm lovable. Yeah? I shut my eyes to the red flags. Maybe those red flags would not have been red flags to somebody else. Because I believe there's somebody for everyone. But for me, knowing myself and how I've been brought up, it would never have sat well with me. And it almost drove me to the grave. Yeah. So I went through therapy. I went through intense therapy. I was even medicated at some point. Because, you know, I tell people, mental health is not, it's hormonal imbalance. basically. It's your body's inability to cope with a stressful situation, and it shuts down. So for therapy to even work, medication has to come in and heal the physiological bit of it, the hormonal bit of it. So you have to be put on medication to stabilize your hormones. So that then, even as we are dealing with these things, because now, imagine being told, this is the role you played when you're not okay. Won't that now throw you off completely?
Me kwanza naweza kataa. What are you telling me?
Exactly.
No, you deny.
No. Deny, or it even, it becomes a thing that, topples you over to the other side. To the other side. So I was put on medication because I was severely depressed. I went through therapy, intense therapy. I identified what my root cause is, and I tell people, if you go for therapy and your root cause has not been identified, you're wasting your time. And now that we've identified the root cause, we started the journey of healing. Now, Val, you've identified this was the issue. This is the role you played. You allowed this to happen to you. Because it could have... Why you? Why you? Imagine, Lynn, mtu akikupiga kofi ataanza na kofi. Itaanzia huko.
Na nitakugonga.
Na nitakugonga.
Na nichezea. Nitakuweka
kofi. And then finally,
coffee.
So, why didn't you leave at the point of unanichezea? Meaning there is also something within you that you have not dealt with. So I dealt with my pain. I dealt with my childhood traumas. I dealt with a lot of things that I had not dealt with from my childhood and from when I was born to where I am right now. By the time this second chance was coming, because Lynn, if I was the person I was in 2017 at the beginning, I'd have just been an ugly, bitter woman. With all this baggage from the past, and now what has just happened, so it makes you even more bitter and angry. I would not have been able to love him or appreciate him because, Lynn, I am married to an amazing man. It's been 5 years. The other marriage didn't even last 2 years. It ended 1.5 years. I've now been with this man for 5 years. We have raised children together because we're a blended home. He came with 2. So remember when I told you there is a man who was left with his children? It's him. The ex-wife left and left him with his 2 children. And he chose to raise them. And I don't even call them stepchildren. My children are the most amazing children I have ever encountered. They are graceful and loving and polite. Me, I've not experienced those horror stories people say about step families. They embraced me. In fact, the thing that makes us laugh is when they are sick in the house, who is the person they should call? See, their father and your daktari. They call me. They look for me. They'll come knock at the door and call mama. They call me mom. My son and my husband look alike. So my friends are still telling me, Madam, tuambie tu ukweli.
Who is the father?
Time imepita and we accept it. That's
we'll
what,
yes.
Yes. But Lynn, I would not have been crossed over to this other side had I not dealt with my personal issues. If I had not taken responsibility for the part I played in that first marriage, the breakage of that. And even for my husband, he took responsibility because he was married before. Kwanza him had been married for 12 years. He took the responsibility he played in the breakdown of that relationship because it takes 2 people to break a relationship, not 1. Even if you're the aggrieved, why does it have to be you who is aggrieved? Because, Lynn, if you bought a shoe and you wear the shoe and the shoe is small, utaendelea kutembea nayo? Si utatoa?
Utatoa.
But kama hauna kiatu ingine, ama unaona utapata kiatu ingine, will you remove the shoe? Si utajikaza tu? Despite how much it's hurting you. It's the same thing. If you're in a situation that is causing you pain, if you think you do not have any other alternative, whether consciously or subconsciously, you will tolerate it. And it will just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And then you change from who you used to be. This bubbly person suddenly becomes bitter because let me tell you, we are human beings.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time. Either you become sickly, which is what happened to me. You become bitter. I was headed there.
Yeah.
You lose touch with reality. You develop mental health issues, physical issues, you know. But when you stand in the mirror and you can look at yourself and tell yourself, Val, this is what you did.
Yeah.
And this is what you need to work on. So for me, I thank God that he fought for me.
Yes.
Because also when you're his, he fights for you. And he fought for me.
Yeah.
And I also thank myself for allowing it. Because I could have chosen to swim in that space and continue pointing blame.
Fingers.
Fingers.
Because of you.
Exactly.
I don't have a role to play. You're the one who hurt
you've chosen
me.
And fighting him. Let me tell you, sijai muitisha hata shilingi. Never. Even those times when we'd get admitted, I'd send a message, hi, we've been admitted in hospital, we're in this ward.
Yes.
And people kept on asking, what are you doing? I'm like, I am playing. Do you see why semekana?
I did not give him
a chance
to be a father. But chaturudi nyuma kidogo, as we are interested also in this part. So you're in hospital.
I'm in hospital.
Your doctor is not there.
My doctor has gone on leave. And he's handing us over to this new doctor.
Yeah.
And the man walks in, and it's the guy I've been seeing in the corridors, and I'm asking God, unadu? And Isaac took care of not only my child, but me. Because he asked me a question no one had asked me in 3 years. How are you? How are you dealing with all this? I hear you people have been here the whole year. And he talked to me and he told me, you know, unless you're okay, this child will not be okay. So you need to take care of yourself. You need to get better. Do you need me to find you a therapist?
Wow.
I said yes. He got me a therapist. Because now, also attending therapy had become erratic because we're in hospital, we are out of hospital. So for the entire, because we were there for about 2 weeks, I got a therapist who used to see me every day.
In the hospital?
In the hospital. And he would check up on me. At some point during that admission, there was a scuffle.
With the nurses?
No, with my ex.
Oh.
And he came and set him straight. Not directly, but he set the situation straight. Isaac has grown to be my best friend and someone I highly admire. As in, he's achieved so much in his life, yet he's so humble. He doesn't even introduce himself as doctor. See, his name is Aizo, him is just Aizo. And encouraging me, because when I felt sick and my doctors were like, you need to pick a struggle, because stress is also what is leading you to be where you are. He told me, Mom, achana na kazi, I'll take care of you. Wow. And for 2 years, he held our family, took care of them. Wakiwa na baba yangu, my father told me, your school fees will be catered for. My mother told me, whatever you need. My mom is the person who used to come and sleep with me in hospital when my baby was sick. Used to look for money to buy me formula ya 10,000 shillings. When anaona zimebaki mbili, she will look for the money and she will buy the milk. When I'm running in the middle of the night, the baby is sick, she's the one who will come and rush us to hospital. Yes. My mom is not young, eh? And she was sick because at this point, my mom had a brain tumor. But she was there. My mother used to drive my son to Kijabe every week to go for leg therapy to straighten his legs so that I don't lose my job. Go to work, I'll take care of this. And him and my aunties would take schedules. Hii wiki ni auntie huyu anampeleka. Yo wiki ingine, when we were in hospital, before I left, I and my sister used to go and wash my matrimonial home and wash my baby's clothes because he was too small. He couldn't fit in the hospital clothes. And now here comes a man who of course everybody is jittery and wondering, ni nani, because I'm still living with my parents. But all of a sudden, when Nathan falls sick, daktari anakuja kumuonea nyumbani. And it does not matter what time it is. I remember there is a time, Nathan was so sick. In fact, I'd come home. By this time, they knew him. So I came home and my son, him and my dad were seated at the dining table and we were going out for dinner. With that time he was my boyfriend, my fiancé, because he proposed 3 months into the relationship. And I could feel my son was a bit hot. Then they told me, it was in January, it's hot, so you're overthinking, you guys have overdressed the baby. By the end of that night, my son could not breathe. That time he used to live in Syokimau. He left Syokimau at 2 a.m. to come and take us to hospital. That is the kind of man God gave me, with the most beautiful and amazing children. I hear me and my daughter look alike, and the boys look alike. Wanakaa wote kama baba yao. Actually, my daughter is a replica of my sister. Looks, behavior, personality, same. Talents, same. And this man walked with me through my healing. He walked with me. Lynn hakuniachilia. My husband has been with me through every one of my 10 surgeries in the last 2018 to last year.
Yes.
He would sleep with me in hospital and wake up by 3 to run to Syokimau to see the babies before they go to school. Run to see my son when he wakes up, come to work and come take care of me. And not, it even got to a point where I asked God, now you've brought me an amazing person. Na ni mashida tu unatupatia. During that time, my mom had to go for her brain surgery. He did same. He would get to work, go to ICU, check on my mom, talk to the doctors, find out how she's slept, what is the plan for the day. Then he goes to see his patients. Around the same time, my aunt also fell very sick. Same thing. And he was there. He was there. In fact, I remember that one for my aunt is even very memorable because my aunt fell ill on 31st. When now she was being rushed to hospital. And he had not spent Christmas with the kids, with his children, because they were the moms. They'd gone to visit the mother. So 31st was their Christmas. He stayed with them in hospital. He stayed with my aunt and uncle in hospital until my aunt was taken care of. And this was in December, when all consultants have gone on leave. Yes. He called his friends. He called in a favor. And his friends came back from leave to attend to my aunt. Who was in ICU for almost 2 weeks. He was there.
And the difference is, by the time he's coming into your life, you are at your lowest.
I'm at my lowest.
Financially,
physically,
emotionally,
mentally, everything.
Yes. Earlier on, by the time this other person is coming into your life, ulikuwa huko. Walk me through the differences, especially mindset-wise. What is it? What is it that made you attracted to Isaac? That's his name, right?
Yes.
Because at this point, you are not even looking for love. At this point, you just want your kid to be okay. You are like, I tried this. You had this grand proposal. Grand wedding. It did not work out. What is it about him that gave you some peace of mind?
He did not see the socialite Val. He saw the broken Val and loved her. He did not bombard me with love. Okay, our age difference is big. Hata namchokozanga naambia unajua ni mzee. His love is very traditional. Yes. Now it's changed, but he did not come with pomp and glamour. He was just there. And had it been the Val before, I'd have dismissed him. Shamra iko wapi? Wapi maua?
Nanderemo. I know, girl, I was waiting for Shamra and Nderemo.
Wapi Nderemo?
Where?
Where is it? Where is the pomp and glamour? Where is the big car?
Where is my 10K in
Where is my
wallet?
10K in the wallet? Where is the big bouquet of flowers in the office? Those things have come later. Those things came much later in the relationship. At this point when I was broken, remember, Uko, I was fine and fabulous, Val, but I was not enough. But because I was shown pomp and glamour, I thought that was love.
You know, I saw somewhere on Instagram, you can be the right package, but you end up in the wrong address.
Yes.
You are the right package.
Yes.
By the way, this package from FedEx has been sent, and then it falls into the
wrong address.
The wrong address.
Yes.
So that was pretty much
that was it. And
now
he's so past, because he tells me, by the time he was walking into a room, alikuwa ameambiwa, na uchunge uko huyo mama.
Short wire.
Wewe. Unajua ameshinda huku mwaka mzima. So stress ile inamsumbua. Na kwanza wanashindanga hapa na madrama na ex wake.
Yes.
Wow. He walked in, no judgment, and asked me a question no one had ever asked me.
How are you?
How are you? He did not offer me silver and gold. Now I wear them. But that's not what he came with. The Bible says you will know them by their fruits. I have seen love, unconditional love. What my husband had to go through to marry me. People knew me in where he works. I was a constant face because I spent a whole year there. Then my son got better and me, and now I came to become the frequent visitor again. So people know me. The broken Val, the bitter Val. Then she graduated to somehow become now a better person.
Yeah.
And the question was, this is the best he could do. Remember, before I was, wow, umepata Val. No, ndio the best. He did not care. Even when he got so much resistant because of society, religion, divorce, God hates divorce. Our pastor told us, our spiritual father, and I bless God for Rev Tom Otieno. He told me God hates divorce, but he knows it happens. And God did not create us because marriage is a symbol of our relationship to God. Yeah? So it pains him, of course, it angers him, it pains him when he sees a marriage not working. But at the end of it, he's a graceful God, and he's a God of second chances. And that is what he gave me. A man who loves me, a man who is a priest, a man who is a protector, because that man has jumped loops. He's done everything and loved me in spite and despite my weight, which was an issue before.
Because of the stress you
because of the sickness, Lynn, I moved from 69 kilos to 110 kilos. Na ndio alikuwa anasema kwanza sasa ndio uko it.
You can be you are the it guy.
I had become so dark. I was sick. By the time you're going through 10 surgeries, at some point I was even not walking, I was on crutches. But he still loved me. Wow. And through the pain of my son being sick, he would have said, I didn't sign up for this madness. Mara ni mimi mgonjwa, mara ni mama yangu, mara ni baba yangu amevunjika mguu, mara ni auntie, hii family pia. But you see, that was God's way of creating an avenue for people to see who he is because of where I had come from. That, wamevumilia yote, and he's consistent. You see, that's
that part right there.
Consistency. Because my sister was very apprehensive about this relation. 3 months into the relationship, you're telling me you're getting married again.
Are you crazy?
Are you crazy? And then she sat back and observed and told him on our wedding day, the thing that has made you win over my respect and acceptance is your consistency. And for me, that's also what I saw.
Yeah.
That the pomp and glam is not reward system because leo hujateta sana. It's coming from a point of love. We will fight with my husband and he will still call me throughout the day. He will still bring me flowers. Ni siku ya maua because he buys me flowers every week. He will still kiss me good morning and good night, hata kama tulilala kama tumekosana. He will still do, and he will still hold me through the night. It doesn't, us fighting does not mean the relationship is over. And I'm here to tell people, allow God to work in you. Seek help, because you cannot do it on your own. True love exists. But while you're out there looking for true love, are you being the true love? Are you working on yourself to be such that by the time the real thing comes, you're able to identify? Because let me tell you, Lynn, had Isaac come in 2012 when I met my ex, hata singemwangalia mara mbili. He used to dress badly. Alikuwa tu. Sasa na hii ingine imepolishiwa inakaa vizuri. That's what I'd have seen.
My God, this saying is true though. I saw it again on Instagram. In your lifetime, you fall in love with 3 people.
That is exactly what has happened.
For real?
Yes.
The
My
high
first
school, the first love,
yeah, university.
Ile high school,
Wow.
university, college, ile, oh my God. The second one where my life was totally meant to be with this person.
And
this
then,
is it.
Why?
And then the third one, the one you never thought you would end up with.
Yes.
Man.
And that is exactly what me, Val, an older guy. Kwanza huwa anavaa sijui aje. Alafu on top of that, ana watoto, please.
It's not gonna happen.
But that is where I found home with my heart.
Home.
And with the days yuko sana,
Yeah.
our personalities are east and west. Our generations are, he's 50, I'm 37.
Yes.
I'm turning 37 next month.
Yeah. Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm a Valentine's baby.
Oh, we are coming through. She come online.
Ziko hapa.
Coming in hot.
So, I don't know.
Yes.
You have to, don't go out looking for the right one. Be the right one.
Oh, powerful.
So that by the time the right one is coming, right and right zikutane. My pastor, in fact, Rev Tom always tells us, marriage is about, God said, go and multiply, not add, multiply. So marriage is about multiplication. A half times a half ni a quarter. So you cannot be completed, but 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4.
Yes.
Multiples grow. Fractions you take away from each other.
Wow.
So you have to work on yourself.
Before you go looking for the right one, ask yourself, am I the right one?
Yes.
Oh my God. Let me ask you, because we are very interested in this whole blended family.
Yes.
He has his kids.
Yes.
His marriage never worked. He's here with his 2 kids. You have yours. Were there any issues you guys coming together? The kids from his side, how was their perception of you? How is your family?
Lynn, I've had horror stories.
Yeah.
Me, I thank God, I haven't gone through that, in all honesty.
Yes.
His children were coming into a space where they did not have a present mom for a very long period of time. Yeah, because when the mom left, the girl was 3, the boy was 5. So when I was coming in, the girl was 7, the boy was 9.
Yeah.
So already you're coming to us, a void that has been felt. And my grandmother told me, let me tell you, now that this is the route you've chosen to take, no, you will either amount curses or blessings for yourself based on how you will treat those children.
Yeah.
Love them more than you love Nathan. Because Nathan is yours. Show them, and don't go into that space and you're causing more pain than what they've already experienced. Wow. So, and for them, they have embraced me wholeheartedly, completely. We have our challenges, of course, whereas initially my daughter was the last born, now she's not. So there were teething problems here and there. Therapy is what helped. The 2 older ones went for therapy. I went for therapy. My husband went for therapy. In a blended home, if the primary parent does not allow the incoming parent to play the role of a parent, then that relationship is broken from day one. Yeah? But if it is made clear that this is a person I have chosen, they are not going anywhere, and you must respect them.
Yeah.
And even me, these are my children, they are not going anywhere, so treat them right. But if it's a case of anytime he wants to, Nathan does a mistake and I jump to tell him, "Hapana, wachana naye,"
it will never work.
Nathan will lose respect for him. If he did the same, those children would never have respected me.
Yes.
They would never have seen me as their mother. Yeah. But they know the love they have for Nathan, because they can choose to also gang up. But we have made it clear, you guys are siblings. And what has even cemented it more is the extended family. When my mother-in-law calls, he talks to all three of them. Watoto wako aje? Let me talk to them.
Wow.
We talk to Nathan, we talk to Nigel, we talk to Nikita. When my mother is coming to, because now my mother-in-law lives out of town.
Yes.
My mother is one, my parents are the ones who are here. When we need a weekend away, and I call my mother and I tell her, utakujia watoto, does not come for Nathan only. Picks all of them.
Wow.
Traditionally, in Meru culture, nyanya means my sweetheart, not grandmother.
Yeah.
So ideally, nilifanya kitu hapo nikabadilisha jina. So Nathan is named from my side of the family.
Okay.
He's the only one who should call my mother nyanya, because he's my mother's husband.
Yes.
They all call each other nyanya. My mother calls them nyanya, or my kanyanya, and they call her nyanya.
Oh.
My father, when he's buying things, he will buy for all of them. My extended family, my aunties, my cousins, they've embraced them completely.
Yeah.
Our families did not come and tell me, you chose that life, as we didn't. So uyu ndio wetu. And same thing with them. His siblings, his mother. So you see, even these children, when they are seeing everybody else around them, welcoming them and embracing them as one, atu segregate atu uyu ni wa uyu na uyu ni wa uyu, and loving them. And even my friends, it's the same thing. May I tell them, if you're bringing, at the beginning I used to tell them, you're not bringing things for Nathan only, I have 2 other children. You as a parent sets the tone. If you allow the children to break the 2 of you because of disunity and power struggles, it will happen.
Yeah. But that's now you and the kids. But then the other partners involved.
Hiyo ilikuwa ngumu. Hiyo hadi wa leo. My ex, not so much, is not in the picture at all. So
it's not
that is neither here nor there. My son holds my husband's name. Is called Nathan Monenenderito.
Yeah.
But the other side, because the children know her, that has been a bit difficult. And understandably so. No one wants to watch another woman raising their kids. It is painful. Even me, today if my ex came, nitaumwa kidogo, ati anaenda kulala kwake na kuna mtu. Of course, there is that panic, anxiety. Are my children being treated well? Are they living a comfortable life? Is this woman loving them? So it's understandable. So that has been the challenge. But it's getting easier with time.
Good.
It's getting easier with time.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. It's not, because at the end of the day, that is still a woman who's hurting from the end of her marriage.
Yeah.
And the reality of this man moving on and remarrying. Najua divorce is one thing, but now you've moved on, you've remarried. Most people actually are convinced Nathan is his son. They don't believe this story that we feed them. So where she's seated and you can see, this boy looks the way my son used to look when he was small. What do you think she's feeling?
Yeah.
So I understand.
And it's allowed.
It's allowed. She'll walk her own journey.
Yeah.
And when and I've seen it happening. I have friends who sit, stepmother. Now actually it is my uncle, his wife and his ex-wife. Now wanakaanga hivi. Now wanaongea, wanachapa. We are in a function because it's my friend's baby's birthday.
Yes.
Sasa hawa ni grandparents, utachagua?
No, wako juu ya story.
So, and what
do you hope that for yourself?
Yes, I do. Mostly for the sake of the children, not even so much for us. Us guys are grown-ups.
Yeah.
I know it pains the children a lot to see the tension between the parents. Because even saying hi is a problem for them. Nichukua watoto. So it is painful for the children. It pains them.
Yeah.
Because now they keep feeling like they're being put in the middle of all this. You know, they have to pick a side and things like that. But we keep affirming them and we tell them that is your mother. Love her. Mini bonus mom.
You're not supposed to substitute.
I am not
You're
a substitute.
To be a bonus.
Yes, I'm a bonus
You're
mother.
not there to take her place.
I am not.
You're there to be a bonus.
Completely. Right? And even when they grow up and they're getting married, she will play her role in their lives.
Yes.
Because she is their mother.
Yeah.
I'm just a bonus. It would have been the same for my ex Eve, but he chose a different path, and it is okay.
Yeah.
He has his reasons why he did, or he's chosen to operate
and
like that.
And he will deal with them.
And he will deal with them.
Yeah.
Because maswali nayo ataulizwa eventually. But I pray that a day will come where these 4 families, because you know, this is not 2 blended families. These are 4 blended families.
Yes.
There's me, there's my husband, there's my ex-husband, there's his ex-wife.
Yes.
So
4.
Where these 4 families will be able to put aside their differences. Because even me, I feel aggrieved by some of the things that have happened.
Yeah.
Not with my ex, I already dealt with it, but from this other side. Because it's been bad, Lynn. It's been really bad. But I choose to also sit and ask myself, what if it was you?
Yeah.
What if Nathan was being raised by somebody else? And I can sit and say, but it was her choice. But maybe not.
Maybe
Who
not.
knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Let me ask. We've already said 3 people. This one, who you are obvious, mtawai Yohana. So the issue is between the one you thought you will marry and the one who is there for you. Why is it that sometimes we do not want to give this third party a chance?
I think it's you haven't dealt with your past issues. You have an idea, a preconceived idea of what love should be. And your preconceived idea is not based on 1 Corinthians. It's based on what you lacked, either in your childhood or past traumas. So that thing that you've been craving for so long, the day you will find it, that will be your semblance of love. Exactly. So, and that's why I tell people, please go for therapy. Find out the root cause. If you're in therapy and you've not been told, you're not being asked, so what brings you here today? You've been asked that question, so what do you want us to discuss this week? We haven't dealt with the root, why your life is the way it is and why you're behaving the way you are at the moment. Then you'll keep circling around the same thing. You'll keep dating the same men. You'll keep finding yourself in the same situations and in the same kind of relationships until the day you sit down and accept that actually I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not whole.
Yes.
I'm looking for this other half, and instead of it coming as half, when we multiply, it becomes a quarter.
Yeah.
So I even lose even more of myself.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what it was. My first love, that one, was electric.
Wow, good one.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Lynn.
Hey.
Where? But the interesting thing about my first love, he was actually a blend between my current husband and my ex-husband.
Yes.
So, onto this one, nikaendelea tu na trend. But because I now understood what love is patient, love is kind. It does not keep a record of wrong. Those things are real. There's no way you're going to say you love somebody, but you're constantly remembering, actually, jana uliniangalia vibaya. Hata ile siku ingine ulinifanya hivi.
God, that takes so much courage. Because me, I'll be there, I'm like, hata jana ulifanya.
But imagine, because remember, this love is supposed to be a replica of our relationship with God. What if God did the same thing with you?
I know someone who is watching this and they just feel vindicated right now. Yes.
That's what I remind
If
first, if God did the same thing,
if every time you went to God, He reminded you.
Hata last time. Hata jana. In fact, when you thought no one was watching, nilikuona. So even those things you do and you think no one else is seeing,
He's there
he's there.
reminding you.
Nilikuona.
But it takes a lot of grace though.
It takes God. That's not something you can do with human strength. Me, I won't lie and say I think that way every time. What I think about is, Val, you've been through a similar situation and you know how it feels to be treated like this. Stop it.
Powerful. Let's talk about red flags. Because generally, you know, we have these, red flags, red flags, red flags. There's always a price you get to pay, right? For having ignored red flags. But how should we, now speaking as a professional, you're a therapist, right? How should I deal with red flags and what makes us ignore them? Because ideally, I'm supposed to stop it, to spot it and walk away. How should I deal with those red flags? A guest of mine said, if you don't deal with red flags, when they start happening, you'll have to deal with red duvets. So, how should I?
You see, you cannot identify red flags if you have not dealt with yourself. You will not see them. You will see them, but you'll ignore them.
Yes.
What I advise people is when you think you're ready for marriage or ready to start dating, go for therapy. At that point is when you should do your premarital counseling. Not when it's a month to the wedding. Hakuna kitu utaambiwa. So you've already set your mind.
Yes.
This is the person. So what am I coming to tell you? In fact, you're saying we're only doing this because
it's supposed to be done that way.
Otherwise, we won't get married. But you have to be intentional. I think I'm ready to start dating. But let me deal with myself. Let me do premarital counseling.
Wow.
Go back to your childhood. Deal with everything you've dealt with. Such that by the time those red flags, utakuwa unanizinusia. And let me tell you, between my ex and my husband, they came. People came. Because why? They know at this point you're very desperate. Yeah. But I could smell it from a mile away. Because I had dealt with myself.
Yeah.
I had dealt with and I was not craving things that are not of importance. Because I've told you, out of our brokenness and out of our pain comes our desires. So if your father did not shower you with gifts, ule mwanamume atakushawa na gifts, utaassume hiyo ndio mapenzi. But over and above not buying you gifts, what else did your father do for you? Because I was there, Lynn. I was there. Me, my father was not. He's a very quiet, calm man.
Yes.
He's not for big shows. And so is my mother. So of course I craved that because nilisoma Mills and Boons. na Sweet Valley High. So the moment it came, I said,
this is it.
But I forgot to ask myself, yes, my father did not shower me with gifts and spoil me rotten.
But what did he do?
But did I ever lack school fees?
No.
Did I have a good roof over my head? How many sacrifices? You know me, I realize now that I'm a parent. If our parents did not make the sacrifices they made, let me tell you, those guys would be living very lavish lives. Me, I can say that for a fact for my parents. Now that I'm a parent of 3, my friend, watoto ndio wananimaliza. But they made the sacrifice. And you see, at that point of therapy is when I was able to identify that. What are your values? What are your worldviews about your values? Because, Lynn, our values might be family. That's value, what you hold dear. Sindio? Worldview is what about the family do you hold dear? So your worldview might be, Mimi, in my family, we see each other every day. We come into each other's spaces. Me, my worldview might be, we are there for each other when we need each other. Are you seeing a conflict?
Yes.
So values alone are not important. Worldviews. Children are important to us, or marriage is important to us. But what happens when you get a job out of the country? Will you consider it? What is marriage to you? That's a worldview. Marriage is important to both of us.
But
we value it. But what about the marriage do you value?
Yes.
What are your thoughts and principles about marriage?
Yeah.
And that you can only identify at the point when you're doing premarital counseling that is, what's the word? Deliberate.
And very intentional.
And intentional.
Victim mentality. Strong word right there, especially during separation. Because hakuna mwenye anatakanga kuonekana ndio mbaya, alinifanyia, ndiye alinifanyia. What are the dangers of having a victim?
You grow to become bitter. You give this person so much power over you. Yani kila saa ukiona mtu ama ukisikia jina yake, Lynn, unapandwa. My mom is on like saying that. Unapandwa. Your blood boils. Yani, you're giving this person control over your whole physical system. Because what happens when you're stressed, your blood pressure shoots up, your sugar shoots up, adrenaline shoots up, cortisol shoots up. You're palpitating, you're angry because of one human being. So you're giving a human being total control over you. You're idolizing this person. So you're committing idolatry before God. You're going to grow to be bitter. Let me tell you, we can't sit here talking about, and it's important, but don't get me wrong, it's important to talk about it and get it out of the system. But Bwana, we can't spend 2, 3 years, 4 years later, we are still talking about the same thing. There is a time and space for that, even in therapy. Grief stages. There's time for bargaining and anger, and you go all the way. But at the end of it, there's either acceptance or depression.
Or denial.
Acceptance or depression.
To depression.
And depression is not necessarily depression. Yes. It's mental health issues. It's your bipolar, it's your anxiety, it's depression, it's schizophrenia. It could be anything. You can't sit down and say, mimi ile nataka ni depression. It could be alcoholism. It could be substance abuse.
Wow.
It could be addiction to sex.
Yes.
It could be addiction to food. You don't know what lies at the end of it.
Yeah. So there's a stage.
There is a stage for it.
Feel
there's
it.
a time. Feel it.
Heal.
Move. Bargain. Get angry. Because it gets to a point, even me, when I was living, I was not living to live. I was living with the hope that sasa juu nimetoka ya ukweli nimeenda kwetu. Hopefully. But I had to get to a point where I realized, by the way, this thing is over. It's done. So what are you going to do? Then I questioned myself. Maybe if I wasn't as educated, maybe if I didn't insist on going back to school, maybe if I was more diligent in going to the gym and my body was right, maybe I bargained and tried to question what would I have done differently. There is also the bargain of, what if I didn't marry him? Lynn, if I didn't marry him, would I be with Isaac right now?
No.
And that's why I thank God for that journey. It was a necessary journey.
That you had
to go had to go through. I had to go through it. Yeah. And at times we pray away pain. Yet maybe that is where your blessing lies. What you should be praying is telling God, hii kitu inaniuma,
but
imagine help me through it. Even in we used to get when my mom says, in Jesus' name, this is the last time this boy is going to hospital. Naambia, Mungu akiamua tunarudi, tutarudi tu.
Wow.
And I can tell you so many things that happened during that time. Dreams, ambitions, aspirations, Lynn, that are coming to fruition now. Without getting too much into it, it's like you're walking through a billboard, and every time you're running to hospital, you're seeing a billboard of a certain phone. Then 3 years later, somebody brings it to you as a gift. Lynn, that is what has happened to my life. Everything I used to cry and pray for. During those night trips, as we are running to hospital, Lynn, they are coming to pass. Now, and not 1 or 2, my life has completely transformed. I am experiencing the things I prayed for. You know the way we say, I now remember the things I used to, I am experiencing them. Both in the kind of relationship I have, in who I am as a person, in the kind of relationships I have with friends, in the kind of relationships I have with my children, in the kind of relationships I have with my siblings and my mother and my father, my family. I have become richer. Yet I was found when I was poor. And not poor, I'm not talking about just monetary value. Lynn, and even right now, I'm not going to say I'm rich in terms of money. It is my emotional wealth.
You're at peace.
I am at peace. Peace ingine mpaka unaambia Mungu, hii ni ile unaambiwa get ready because the storm is coming. And God tells me,
be still.
Be still. The blessings of the Lord had no sorrow. You know, we forget that God says that. We believe beauty comes with pain. Why? Yet he says his blessings add no sorrow.
As we wind up, maybe, because I've noticed you have so much love for your kids.
I do.
And I just love how you don't say my stepson,
no,
my stepdaughter.
They're my children. Even them, they don't say stepmom. They call
say
me
mama.
Ah.
That's beautiful. They will watch this at some point in life. Maybe not now, but when age catches up, they will watch this.
No, actually, they will watch.
They will watch this.
They will watch.
They know mommy is here. Okay. But what would you want to tell them? Maybe you can just look at that camera.
Coco and Shuru, I love you. You guys are amazing children. You have been such a source of joy, not just to me, but to our whole family, our whole extended family. You're such a blessing. You have given me the opportunity to be called mom again and again and again. The love you have for Nathan, the love you have for me, the respect you give me, the acknowledgement and acceptance of me as your mom, I don't take it for granted. I love you. And just know that I will always be here for you. I am your bonus mom. Yes. I am your bonus mom. God loved you so much that he thought, you need two moms to love you even more.
Yeah.
And that is what I am here to offer you. I am your friend, and you know you can count on me for anything and everything. Yes.
Now to Isaac. see how your face bright. Upendo ni kitu nzuri.
Oh, my love. Yes. Gosh, babe. You have been a breath of fresh air. And as I keep telling you, your name means laughter. Isaac means laughter, and that's all you have brought to my life. You are my friend, you're my confidant, you're my mentor, you're my priest, you're my provider. You have entrusted me with your children. You have fought for me and loved me unconditionally with all my craziness. Babe, I love you. And I thank God every single day for the blessing that you are in my life. It's been 5 years, and I can't wait to spend even more with you. I love you. I love you so, so much. And I appreciate who you are. You're an amazing father. You're an amazing brother. You're an amazing son. You're an amazing son-in-law. You know, your love for my parents and for Nathan, and how you've come through for each and every one of us and Tote and my friends. You're at each and everyone's beck and call. You love sacrificially. And that is one thing I admire in you. I love your humility. You're such a great boss, and you don't wear it. You don't flaunt it. You remain humble despite all the achievements that you've made. I love you. And I honor you, and I appreciate you.
Wow. So beautiful to see people loving, existing in love, giving love a second chance, believing. Because you come from a place where you could easily have said, marriage is a scam. But now you're here, accepting marriage works. That's powerful. That's we don't get to see that every day. Honestly. Even me, when I hear such a story,
But Lynn, it takes work.
It's beautiful.
it takes work. Love is truly not a bed of roses. Hizo thorns ziko. But unconditional love. That even when you hurt me, I need to remember that. Imagine even me tomorrow, I'm the one to hurt you. So can I treat you the way I want you to treat me?
When I'm the one on the wrong. That's powerful. But now, to yourself, what would you like to tell you? Because sometimes we want to say things to everyone apart from ourselves. What would you want to tell yourself?
Damn, girl.
Damn.
You're strong. You've 2 marriages, 10 surgeries, 1,000,001 hospital visits, almost losing your child, almost losing your mom. You have fought for so much. You have given so much. And I know this stage in your life feels weird because your life has been full of turmoil. But imagine this is your resting phase and you need to embrace it. This is God giving you a chance to harvest everything you've sowed over the years. And it's a stepping stone to the next level that God is taking you to. So accept it. You deserve it. And this is what you prayed for. This is what you prayed for. You're exactly where you deserve and need to be.
Na tukubali kupendwa.
Na tukubali kupendwa.
Tukubali kupendwa. Tupendeke.
Tupendeke tu. Tupendeke tu.
Yes. It would be so wrong to end this without you talking to your family and your extended family.
Yes.
Because again, you know, sometimes we take family for granted, right? Coming from a place where you are excluded, separated from them, you know,
and they still work. Yo, man, you guys. My moms, I have many mothers. Yeah. My moms, my fathers, my siblings, my friends. Thank you. I know it's not been easy. I've not always been the easiest person to deal with. Thank you for loving me when I was hard-headed and proud and thought I knew it all. And thank you for not shaming me when I fell from glory. Yeah. And thank you for upholding me even during this new journey.
Yes.
Thank you for accepting my new family and loving them unconditionally. Thank you for all the sacrifices. Oh my God. Kina mom, taking those trips to take Nathan to hospital, calling to find out how we are doing and if we need anything, coming to hospital to visit us. I am so grateful. I am so grateful for my family and my friends. You know yourselves. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. For even the times when I was sick, you were there. And for little Nathan, thank you for fighting.
Yeah.
Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for soldiering on. Thank you for always going to theater and coming out. Thank you for fighting to stay alive in my womb. Thank you for how much joy you bring, Mama. I love you. I love you.
Good. I love peace. I love to see this part of life. You know, it gives me so much hope too, that all is not lost.
It's not.
And we can always decide to trust and believe again. You know, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And as I said, I'm looking forward to having you again on the show because I want you to help us with few matters, especially therapy, you know, mental health. That's a big deal to me right now. That's something I would really want you to just come sit and help us with. So I hope when we come,
I will be there. No, I will. Nitakuwa. I will be there.
Nitakuja niwaambia alikataa. So I really look, because I know there's this also professional side of you that could really be helpful to our audience.
Yes.
But even as I wind up, maybe for those who would want to get in touch with you, where can people find you, and what would be your parting shot to them?
Okay.
Yes.
So you can find me through my socials at Miss Kadhambi on Instagram, Valentine Kadhambi on Facebook. You can also find me at Niskize. Our clinic is in Upper Hill. We work with a team of mental health experts who deal with family, children, trauma, psychopathologies, name it. And we will always be there willing to call you. I'll give Lynn the number, and she can put our number.
There on the screen.
Please reach out. We are always ready and willing to be there to help you, because we believe you heal the mind, you heal the society, and you heal your body.
And you heal your body.
And you heal your body.
Thank you. So it's been so amazing having you.
It's been so amazing being here.
I was just talking to someone. I feel like I was just talking to someone who I have been friends with for a while.
This was amazing. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for having me, Lynn. And your amazing team. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope I get to see you again,
I
as I said earlier.
I hope so too.
And my people, I really want you to tell me what's your take home from today's conversation. Isn't it amazing when we see such stories? Isn't it amazing that ni sawa tukubali tu kupendwa, that love exists? But then again, for me, my take home is, before you go looking for the right person, ask yourself, am I the right one? Because I feel like we have so much expectations. We just put so much expectations on other people, but we don't look at ourselves and ask, have I done the work? You know, my take home also, it's those counseling.
Premarital therapy,
that you shouldn't go when you are almost getting married. Go when you've started dating. Kwanza wewe kivyako. Go and ask yourself, do I really want this? Deal with that part.
Who am I?
Who am I?
Do I have any underlying issues? What do I need to deal with?
Before you go projecting on other people, deal with that part. And I love that now we are in a society where it's okay to admit when kama tunashindwa, it's okay. We have professionals who can be able to help us. So let me know on the comment section, my people, what your take home is from today's conversation. And of course, to your family, we say thank you for even taking care of her. Isaac, asante man. So, for my people in the comment, beli yake imebaki.
Beli yake imagine iko.
It's there.
Lakini unajua top ya kamera yezi enda na rusha ya trouser.
Sasa nini ungeachia tu beli iko bado like.
Beli iko, lakini kamera yezi enda na rusha.
So lazima Kiswahili yako pia inaleta. I'm really chilling here admiring your Swahili. So, umesikia beli iko. But me, I want you guys to trust and believe that your person is there. But do the work first before you go looking for love from another person. As always, if you want to get in touch with my guest, her contact details, her place ziko hapa. You guys get in touch. I'll leave also all the details for you on the comment section. And again, if you want to share your story with me, my email is right here on the screen, info@lnn.digital. Hapo ndio sisi tunapatikana. Thank you so much, my people. Najua tuko hapa January, jua imewaka, but we continue pushing and we continue believing and we continue loving. To my incredible team that's behind this work, thank you so much for putting this episode together. I do not take your efforts for granted. And of course, to the amazing people that love and support our work, I love you guys. Continue loving our work. And if you would also want to support us in any way, squeeze nitakuwa nawaachia pay bill hapo chini. Feel free, because it takes a lot to put this work together. So any help you send our way is highly appreciated. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Again, thank you to my people at Elegance. Sijava niko na viatu za Elegance, but even if you like this outfit, they can always hook you guys up. I love them. They always supportive, coming through for the show. You do not get to do this job alone. No man is an island. So, taka Sijava Elegance, to the people at Elegance, thank you so much for always coming through. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Till next time, bye-bye.